What's good, baby? It's Simona Hustle with L'Oreal and Kyle Santillian. And our doors always open, man. We love having guests in the studio.
Yes.
And today, this guy's making some moves on the music scene. Real crazy. Grammy Award winner.
Get it right.
You got to say that right. Grammy Award winner. We got Lecrae in the studio with us, man.
What's happening?
What's happening with you, brother?
Hey, man, listen, I was up early, so I decided to stop on by. I was on my morning run.
Yeah.
I love that because I'm barely up. So I'm happy you came in here with the energy for sure.
Sheesh. Yeah,
man, but you're busy, man. You're out here winning Grammys, making music, and I'm pretty sure that you're up this kind of day all the time, no?
Oh, no. That's not how I roll. That's not how I roll. You getting Grammy energy. That's what you get. It just ain't worn off yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm just still awake right now.
So you do the afternoon Sunday service.
Yeah.
You don't do that? Okay, yeah, me too. I was on when they started them online. Right?
Online joint. I be a bedside Baptist like, what? You know what I'm talking about?
I love it. I'm so excited for you because it's a lot of talk about the Grammys, right? The Grammys, this was one of the biggest years that they had.
Yeah.
And, we clap back at the Grammys. We meaning black people, right?
Come on, talk about it.
Let's talk about the categories sometimes that are not televised.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how they decide to choose? Because it seems like they just pick everybody that's not black to be televised.
Oh, snap. I didn't even think about it like that. That's kind of crazy because rap, gospel, a lot of the Latin and island music, Afrobeat.
You see what I mean?
Yikes.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. I was today years old. Man, I wonder it always be coming down to the dollar bill and who's paying attention. And obviously we live in a country where there's, 200 million white folks and only like 40 million, but it's Latino, I don't know, man. That's interesting. I never even thought about that.
I think we're the majority. They just want us to believe we're not. So they keep doing things to put us in spaces to make us seem like we're smaller.
That's crazy.
Hey,
I'm just glad I got my hardware. I got out the door.
You got out unscathed, right?
Do you feel like, because none of yours, was any of yours televised? None of them
was televised. Nah, it's never like, but coming in, like when you on a Christian side, like the categories are even weird because at the end of the day, like if you listen to my album Church Close 4, it's a hip hop album.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to it, but my faith is center of it. So it's kind of like, well, where do we put this and how does this work? It's kind of weird because I'm the only genre that's based off of content, not style. So it's like, it doesn't really, I could have done polka, I could have done jazz, but as long as my faith is in it, it's about content, so they just gonna put you in the Christian category, which, hey, listen, I'm not mad.
You're like, I'll take the Grammy.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that. For the people that don't know, you do make Christian-based hip-hop. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's hip-hop, but like you said, your perspective is faith-based. Yeah. Was there a time when you were just making I don't want to say regular, you know what I mean, like secular hip-hop?
I always say that word wrong. Help me with it. Secular. I say circular, which is...
Listen, these are terms I had to learn, too. I didn't even know how to... I just was, for me, I always made it from the heart. I didn't really have my spiritual transition until I was like 19. So I just grew up in hip hop. That's all I knew.
For sure.
So I just grew up rapping. And then when I went through my spiritual transition and, met God, then I just started fusing those views in it. And I always felt like rap is social, scientific, streets. Absolutely. But the spiritual just was an ingredient that wasn't always there. So I just was like, let me add that.
I always felt a little weird about because I love Kanye West, regardless of he has his things going on with him and sometimes he upsets us. But I never really respected the fact that they made it seem like he created a genre that included God, because you already had artists like you and other artists that are like you that have been out for a long time. A long time.
But I mean, I think his journey been so popular, so everybody was tuned in because his journey was so popular. So they just, that put a lot of light on things. But it's all good. He didn't call me for the project, so it's
I was gonna ask that. Did he ever reach out to you for anything?
You know what I'm saying? He didn't hit me, and now you know what I'm saying. I don't know. You know what I mean? I met him.
Got the Grammy now, maybe.
Yeah, I met him, but it didn't work out. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all
sometimes
good.
energies
Hey, it ain't supposed
are
to be.
meant to not link up.
You
Okay?
feel me? And maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
How you feel about a lot of these artists that in recent years we've seen with demonic or devilish images on stage and with the fire, right? All of this kind of stuff.
Right.
And then on the flip side, I've really been paying attention on social media. There seems to be a resurgence for Christian-based hip hop as well. Do you think that's in response to some of the things that we've been seeing on stage, or how do you think that's playing out?
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously you're gonna have young Christians and whatnot who are gonna be like, hold up. We gonna make some noise out here too. But I don't like all the demonic stuff. To me, it's weird because like, why would you want to play with fire? I don't want to play with the devil.
I feel you.
Like I don't like what is why would you want to play with that? Like to me, that's
handsome
just,
about him to me.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like, man, why play with fire? I just have never been that type of person. Like if I don't want smoke, I'm not gonna play with fire. It's not like he's a good person. It's not like he's like, oh, I appreciate y'all praising me like that, man. I'm finna look out for y'all. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that part I don't understand.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, it never made sense to me. So it's like, hey, man, if you wanna dance around a serial killer and have fun, I don't think that's wise.
To me, I'm like the standout version would be to praise God, because what I don't understand is that's the first thing we do when we go on stage what we do. We like, well, I want to give it to God.
For sure.
But then when people incorporate God, they be like, oh, that's corny or that's lame. And you're like, I don't understand. But the demons and the demonic stuff is cool.
I never got it because I feel like we're in an era of tolerance and everybody's tolerant of something. But when it comes to like Christian, it's like, oh, no, stand back. And I'm like,
so weird.
But I understand why people will say it's corny, because a lot of times you get that faith pass. And so, like, oh, you doing it for God, so you get a pass. You don't got to be good. But I just wanted to raise the standard. Like, let's raise the bar. If we doing it for the Creator, He the most creative being in the universe. So let's raise the bar and let's be creative.
Now, when we're talking, my bad.
No, I was gonna say those things on social media. I don't know if you see, like DL Hughley recently was posting certain things where she's like, basically trying to attack the Christian faith, saying that like, if there's a God, why would he allow slavery and babies to die and lynching?
Right.
And it just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I get that. Like, for me, I always, when people come up with questions like that, to me, I'm like, so what are you proposing? You know what I'm saying? If you saying, well, if there's a God, why is all this evil in the world? I'm like, so what are you proposing? Are you saying that there's not a God, and then you can't say that there's evil? Because if there's no God, there's no good. And if there's no good, there's no evil. If we all just a bunch of cosmic accidents and we have no purpose, then you can't be mad when things go wrong, because nothing matters. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, what we on?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I hate when they be loud and wrong. Like, and then because they get a lot of retweets, people think like, oh, you know what? She's making sense.
Yeah,
no,
oh boy, we go to YouTube University out here, boy.
Man, don't they? Man.
Boy,
hold on, I found out how to build a car there.
Hey, sometimes it worked for you. Sometimes it worked for you.
Let's talk hip hop real quick, man, because one thing I believe, and it's for me, like I have a standard for my personal self in terms of like what I like to listen to.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you're talking about robbing, stealing, a guy, you got to be able to rap.
For sure. The craft.
You got to be able to, the craft of hip hop. You know what I mean? Do you find that people sometimes they'll dismiss your craft because of the faith?
Oh, all the time.
And you have to show them what's what?
All the time. I mean, not just
them bars.
But you know what? I grew up in the era of battle rapping too, so I was used to it. I was like, I already know you coming in thinking I'm weak for whatever reason. So now I just got a double standard on me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, we already gonna eat you up because you in our arena, and then on top of that, you Christian. Like, we really going. So I'm like, all right, bet. You know what I'm saying? It's just we gonna 8 Mile this thing. We gonna 8 Mile and let you know, like, nah, we really take our craft serious.
How do you disrespect somebody in a battle rap but keep it godly? How do you do that? God's going to...
You a Judas.
Like, because you trying to really tear, you know what I mean? You trying to tear him apart in a godly way.
Sometimes it's really, like, shout out to my guy, Saga. He's, like, one of the dopest battle rappers. He's a Christian battle rapper. But one of the dope things he does is he just, like, goes at all the stuff he knows people are going to say about him. Right. Or, like, you know, and twist their words upside down. So it's like, oh, I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say. Exactly. Yeah. All of those things.
Live in a trailer park.
Exactly. And then just, you can come at some of the fakeness, like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, everybody, got gun bars, and it's like you just tear all that stuff down. Like, man, come on, man, let's be real. There's lots of different angles, but it make you more creative. So that's what I always say too. When I get in the studio, I can't lean on a cuss word to fill in the space. I can't lean on just a drug bar or a drug reference. I can't lean on something that just would, I gotta think. And I gotta work at it. You know what I mean? So
that's fire.
And that's what I came from.
What's crazy about it is a lot of the artists, they talk about the drugs and this and that, and they don't even do it.
Right.
Like 50 Cent has made plenty of songs talking about drinking and this and that, and he's very sober. So has there ever been a time where you're like, all right, I would want to do a song with this artist because I rock with their music, but at the same time, it doesn't look good for my brand?
Yeah, for me, it's like, yes, that has happened. If you like really on some extra stuff, you on some crazy stuff in the moment, like it don't look good. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm never going to close my door to people who like looking at this as an opportunity to say something that they haven't had a chance to say. Like maybe like when I did a song with Ty Dolla $ign, me and Ty did Blessings, he was excited because he loved gospel. And he was like, man, I really want to do something like this, but he ain't never had the outlet and the opportunity to. So it just opened the door for that. So I'm always going to open the door for you to do something. I ain't going to judge you for that. My thing is like, everyone's like Jesus hung around sinners. Truthfully, sinners hung around Jesus because he was the type of person they wanted to be around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the energy you bring, the light you bring. That's how I want to be. It's just like I done had people at my studio, they're like, man, I like it over here. It's ain't no drama, ain't no chaos. And it's like, man, that's the vibes we give off.
But can you smoke weed there?
You can smoke outside. You can smoke outside by all means. Going outside. Come on back in.
I see what Kanye did there, though. He tried to snatch up Ty Dolla $ign because he heard the Blessings record. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Who does Lecrae listen to?
I listen to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Do you find yourself, is it harder for you to listen to people that are talking some of those other things that you don't agree with?
So this is the thing. When you've been in the industry so long, I'm not like a 16-year-old kid who just gets influenced by the music I listen to. I'm like a student. So it's like if I make movies, it's hard to go to the movies and just let it wash over me. I'm looking at the cinematography. Right. I'm looking at the art, the lighting. So when I'm listening to music, I'm not sitting there listening to, Key Glock lure me into something. I'm listening at his flow pattern, at the producer. I'm listening to the engineer. Oh, what they do with his vocals. How do they do this? I'm listening at...
I listen to music like that.
All of that type of stuff. So I'm just like a scientist with it. I'm just taking it apart. So I listen to everything. There's literally nothing I don't listen to.
Like Ice Spice?
I'd even listen to Ice Spice, but the reason why is because I want to understand, like, what's the thing that everybody's loving? You know what I mean? Like, what are they loving? What are they hearing? I want to understand, like, you got to be a sociologist with this if you really want to have longevity in the game. You can't just...
What do you see that they are loving in music, like when it comes to people that, let's just be honest and call a spade a spade. Some people are saying it's like mediocre talent, right? Yeah. The stage presence isn't there, the lyrics aren't there, but they're still super...
Yeah, they viral,
big, successful.
But part of that is because, depending on your era, like, if you're an 80s baby, a 90s baby, you probably have a different... Like you've been exposed to certain things that this generation is not exposed to. So they didn't grow up with Lauryn Hill or Outkast. They didn't grow up with, a lot of these rappers. They only know what they know now. So that's the bar for them. So they don't have the same value system that we have. In the same way, like my mom used to be like, man, y'all don't got no live music and it's all synthetic, and we don't come from that. So we don't have the same appreciation for it. So I think part of it is, you just dealing with a generation who they bar is at a different place, and you just got to enter into the gate the way they entering in, and then you can show them something different, or you can change, help them. I try to teach my young artists, like, hey, add a little bit of this, do some of that, do this.
What's interesting to that point, though? I think there's going to be somewhat of a reversal.
Oh, no, we've been waiting, child. It's been years.
Because check this out, right? This past weekend, we had my son's birthday party, right? Yeah. And obviously, because of what I play, my son knows certain things. My son knows Nas. My son knows Tribe Called Quest.
Right.
You know what I mean? His favorite artists are like J. Cole and Kendrick and things like that, right? So, but we're driving, and I got all the kids in the truck. We driving. I'm dropping all the kids off, and they're talking about what they're listening to. And they're all like 14, 13 years old. And the one kid said, yo, put on some Nas. I perked up like, oh.
He only did that for you.
I promise you. I said, you, and I was confused. I was not confused, but I was curious. I was like, so you know about Nas? I was like, what you know about Nas? He was like, no, my dad put me on. So I think there's a generation of kids
for sure
of 90s babies that are going to have some of that exposure that you were just talking about.
That's that. I mean, I hope that's the case. But end of the day, I mean, all these eras come and go too. So that's what the other thing, like that SoundCloud era that came and went. It's just really what it comes down to is people want control. That's really what they want. We don't have gatekeepers no more. Anybody can get to the front of the line with their music. So they don't really have to work at it. They don't have to be developed. They don't have to work at their craft. If we start bringing in gatekeepers, ain't always a bad thing. Like if we start bringing in a little more gatekeeping, it'll help.
I think it
was a limit to certain artists, but when you really think about it, I remember when I was doing music, you had to know certain artists or you was frowned upon. Like, so you don't know MC Light. You don't know like you really had to know things. And now, like you said, it's like the bars in hell. That's why they're celebrating the demons.
I agree.
It's like the lowest level of limbo.
You get what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
And they're going to twerk through the limbo, too, while they at it. Jeez.
This is dope, bro. For anybody that's not familiar with your music, man, please let them know how they can find your music. Tell them a little bit about where they can go to kind of get caught up to speed.
Yeah, man, go check me out. Just Lecrae, Lecrae. I'm everywhere music can be found. You know what I'm saying? Just, go listen to it. I got a podcast called The Deep End right now. I just be breaking down all kinds of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And just talking to real. Been a couple viral moments, obviously, with me going to some of these Diddy parties and stuff. And I talk about it. Cause I'm like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been swallowed up?
That's what I'm saying. It ain't never happened to me. I had to be real. I was like, I ain't never seen it. It never happened to me. I was just, you know what I'm saying? I was just chilling in a cut. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. Congratulations on everything. Definitely appreciate you coming by and hollering at us, man. And we wish you continued success, man. Keep doing your thing.
Next time bring your Grammys.
Right. I'm going to have them just like that. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. Lecrae hanging out with us this morning on The Morning Hustle, man. Appreciate you.
We are The Morning Hustle.